Hello, my friends. It is Dr. Remy LeBeau with, well, a brother or a father or maybe a distant cousin that visits often. This is the Kotobukiya Gambit statue that was released maybe like 2 years ago. By the way, I'm in the X layer in case you guys didn't know that I'm in the X frickin' layer where I spent too much time loving my statues, loving my beautiful statues. So this is the Gambit statue produced by Kotobukiya, sculpted by Eric Sosa, very talented sculptor. Let me see. This was okay. So there were 1,500 made. It was released in 2011, so 2 years ago. It's got this very cool like Sentinel base, um, and actually it lights up, but you have to put batteries in it. And I don't like to put batteries in it because I don't use the light up feature too often. I don't want any oxidizing, problems to occur, and so I'm not gonna light it up for you. But it's essentially supposed to be like the hand of a sentinel, and they shoot out like their laser beams or whatever from their palms. So that's sort of the effect you get from it, which is very cool. It looks really, really nice. This is the Danger Room series version of Gambit. So Kotobukiya has slowly over time created some other statues in this line. I actually have the Colossus, which you maybe can see. There's the feet. Here we go. There's the feet. Hello, feet of Colossus. Peter's not ticklish. Um, so they did Colossus, they did Psylocke, they did actually recently a Cyclops, and then of course Gambit, and I might be missing one, but uh, the with Kotobukiya, it's been hit and miss as far as like quality and also as far as consistency and sort of also as far as like they did a Wolverine as well, right? And also as far as like commitment, I feel like I think the thing that really disappointed me and kind of turned me off to them was that they had sneaked a version of Rogue that was going to be in this line, in which she was like kind of like coming down from a flight, like she was like flying and about to land, and her hair was kind of like still flowing up, and she had this very cool look on her face, and she was like holding like a sentinel piece, and there was more sentinel debris in the statue. It was a very nice piece, and they actually put it up for sale, and then at some point they just decided they weren't going to release it, and that really disappointed me and a lot of other collectors. It was like the wrong thing to do. It's like I mean, I can understand like maybe trying to find out from the public if there would be interest in a statue before it's released, before it's even put up for sale. But they actually went as far as to actually put it up for sale. They actually showed it at comic conventions, and then they didn't release it. I don't know. That kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, as I'm sure it did for other people, and sort of kind of was a strike against the company as far as like my overall feeling about the company. But I'm not gonna completely paint them as like a bad company because they're not. They're actually a very good company. They're based in Japan. They do some good work. This is an example of the good work they do. The only problem I have with the statue is I feel like the face is not completely as handsome as I think Gambit should be. He looks a little bit weathered, a little bit older, but beyond that, I think it's a great statue. Like it's got a great pose, very dynamic sort of state of the coat, kind of flowing in the wind. I really love like the translucent like powered up cards, like the effect of the cards looks really nice. The hair is great. It's just like coming out. It looks very Jim Lee era, which is like the era of that sort of made Gambit important in the Marvel universe. So it captures that really well. It's got like a scruffy kind of 5 o'clock shadow thing going, which is nice. Um, and then beyond that, all the elements of the costume are as they should be, and the choices for like the blue for the boots and the trim on his costume, as well as like the kind of darker violet on the sort of like the pink elements of the costume are very nice. It's kind of a little darker than your average choice for those elements of the costume. They look really nice. Everything stands out well. Um, of course, again, the kneecaps, the metal boots done really well. Everything about it is very cool. Like the staff is great. And of course, you can see in the base. So this is the Danger Room series. So you can kind of see that. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but you probably can. So down here, it kind of looks like the base is pixelating because like I guess the hologram is like shutting off or either shutting off or shutting on or turning on, one of the two. Um, so it's a very cool concept. It's a very cool execution. Um, it, there were some problems with Psylocke specifically. I actually bought the Kotobukiya Danger Room series Psylocke statue because I thought it was pretty cool, you know. But the paint job on it was just atrocious, just terrible. Like the lines, like the paint, demarcating one element of the statue to another it was just so sloppy. It was terrible. Um, and actually, it was enough to like just completely turn me off to the statue, and I wound up selling it, even though I thought it was a really great sculpt, and actually did look kind of cool in person. But I just couldn't accept, kind of the majority of the flaws that were overwhelming to the point where anytime you looked at it, you would notice something, and that to me like kind of turned me off to it. So unfortunately, I got rid of that one as well. But I never got rid of Colossus, and I'll be featuring Colossus very soon. Like I say, like kind of like Sideshow, they're kind of hit and miss. But when they hit hard. Like they hit well, and they make statues that are worth getting. But their track record is nowhere near like Bowen Designs. Like Bowen Designs, I again like is unmatched in my book as far as like the quality and sort of the longevity of the value of this statue, not monetary value, but just kind of sentimental or like awesome value. You know, like they endure because they're the Bone Design statues because most of them are pretty perfect. Statues that aren't completely well done in maybe quality or just overall sculpt, over time you might just get over them and might end up getting rid of them, and that tends to happen more often than not with statues that aren't produced by Bowen Designs. This particular statue though, I don't think I'll be getting rid of it. I think it's a really great statue, and I think it overall like it does the trick. It is Gambit. It's Gambit in a very cool way, and I really like it. I really like it, and for some reason, like Kotobukiya statues have become like hardcore like collector's items. Like they tend to go up in price quite a bit. This one hasn't gone up that much, but like it surprises me. The Danger Room series statues, like the Wolverine, goes for like $400 or something. Um, I think Colossus is starting to go up. So if you're interested in these statues, like I would start getting them because apparently people like want them enough to the point where they become sort of hard to find. It could potentially be because they're produced in Japan and maybe like Japanese consumers are more likely to purchase these statues than American consumers. But American consumers are obviously these characters are created in the U.S., so we are inclined to buy them. Um, but we have other options. So we wouldn't necessarily buy all 2,000 of these, but other people would from Japan. So there's enough of a demand, is what I'm trying to say, that the statues wind up becoming scarce and become valuable and collector's items because there's more of an international sort of demand for them on a large scale because they're produced in another country. Um, so again, here's Mr. LeBeau. Of course, Gambit. One of my Gambit is my favorite character, and he's my namesake, as you are very familiar with. So I mean, in the end, like as long as a statue of Gambit looks pretty good, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna keep it. Um, Unfortunately, Bowen Designs actually did have a miss with their Gambit statue, as far as I'm concerned. They do a great job, but like for me, I did buy the Bowen Designs Gambit, and I don't know, there was something about it that just was off, so I didn't keep it. Hopefully, Randy Bowen has stated that in the future we're going to get an action Gambit produced by Bowen Designs. I'm crossing my fingers waiting for that one. I'm sure it's going to be super impressive, especially if the Kuchereg brothers wind up sculpting that one. My God, that could be so impressive. And maybe like another Rogue as well, like in the '90s costume, making them a set. That would be spectacular. That would be spectacular. Um, I'm willing to wait for those. And this is my Gambit right now, my '90s display, and he works really well, and I'm happy with it. So currently, I only have him and Gambit premium format. Oh, and a custom Gambit that I'll be showing you, which is like this huge, like dynamic pose action Gambit with like a huge like energy stream with like 3 cards being shot out. That one's actually a very cool statue too. That I actually repainted myself because the original paint job was like shitty. But but there, but the point is that there just aren't enough good Gambit statues out there. So definitely, if you're a Gambit fan, this is one to get. Again, just I'll give it one last twirl. You can see how dynamic it is. It's done really well. There was a lot of attention put into it by Eric Sosa. Hat is off to you, Mr. Sosa. Um, he made sure that Mr. LeBeau got sort of the treatment that he deserves because for some reason Gambit is one of those hate him, love him or leave him characters, but those of us that do love him, like we love him obviously way too much. So you know we deserve great statues of him, and this is definitely up there. This is definitely up there. Even probably in the future when maybe more statues have been produced. Hello, the future, where you have so many more statues than I do in 2013. Um, I'm sure he'll still like rank pretty high up there because it is overall a really great statue. And with the light up feature, it works really well as well, and it actually is like sort of like a nice extra element of a statue of this statue. But again, I don't light them up that much, so and you have to like unscrew the base in order to put the batteries in there, so it's kind of too much trouble for me right now. I was a little bit lazy. What can I say? All right, folks. That concludes this video. I hope you enjoy the blog post on Mr. LeBeau. I have some close-up shots of all his awesome goodness. And, of course, thank you again for checking out my video, my blog, my channel. And I have plenty more stuff coming, so do not fret, my friends. And as always, X in the box because ain't nobody checking me. Thank you very much, and I will see you all very soon.